Hi, my name is Jody DeJong-Hughes. I work for the University of Minnesota Extension. In this series of videos, we're going to learn about what is compaction, how to build a healthy soil to resist compaction, and what equipment and tire choices are out there to help minimize the effects of compaction in your fields. In September of 2011, the University of Minnesota Extension partnered with NDSU, commodity groups, and equipment manufacturers to hold a unique field day near Fergus Falls, Minnesota. 4 soil pits were created to demonstrate different management techniques to help take control of soil compaction. This video is the 4th in a series of 4 to help farmers identify soil compaction and manage it in their own fields. Ken Broadbeck with Firestone Tires spoke to us about the importance of proper tire care and maintenance. Experts agreed that there's no simpler way to improve your tractor efficiency than by properly inflating your tires. Proper tire inflation not only improves tractor efficiency, but can reduce the intensity of the compaction from the tires. Ken spoke about the importance of a good quality inflation pressure gauge. When your tire pressure is too low, it can shorten the life of your tire. Tire pressure that is too high can increase wheel slippage, decrease your fuel efficiency, and create more compaction. So inflation set too high or too low can cost you money.
I gave you 2 examples here of how a customer with 2 different inflation settings for a given load can either make or break you. This is a footprint we made with an actual tire, and it shows it's 24 inches long. It looks pretty good, but if I don't know if you can see in the video, the centers of the bars are deflected and punched in, and the shoulders of the tread bars have very little indentation into the foam. And this is an overinflated tire. If you look at its mate, which was properly inflated, you can see the tread footprint is much longer. We go from 24 to 29, so a huge increase in length, which then equates to better traction, less slippage, and obviously lower inflation pressure. It's the correct inflation pressure. And as you see here, the bars are more evenly the pressure distributed across the face of the bars, and that then gives you better traction, less slip, and lower compaction. So inflation pressure is key for making your tractor perform and making sure your soils are not compacted.
The benefit to adding duals or triples, in addition to better flotation and traction, is it reduces the carrying load on each tire. When you reduce the carrying load, you can reduce the optimal tire inflation rate. This decreases the depth and the intensity of the compaction. Radial tires exert a pressure of 1 to 2 pounds greater than their inflation pressure. For example, if a radial tire is inflated to 6 psi, the tire exerts a pressure of 7 to 8 psi on the soil. If you have a heavy axle load, choose the largest tire that provides the lowest inflation pressure to reduce your compaction potential. To find your proper tire inflation pressure, weigh your tractor by each axle. Portable scales or the grain elevator scale can do the job. Set the inflation pressure to the tire manufacturer's recommended pressure. These can be found either in the tire manufacturer's data books or on their websites. Remember, if you add a sprayer or the fertilizer tanks, these must be added to your total axle weight. If you don't have access to a scale, follow these tips by Ken to tell if your tires are properly inflated.
For trying to set your pressures, it's difficult unless you can actually run the machine over a scale, and not everyone has a scale obviously or access to an elevator. But I tell customers if they have a good flat, and I emphasize flat, don't do it on a crown road, a flat concrete surface like their shop, with the tractor in its heaviest condition. If you see here, we have a mounted cultivator, so this is its heaviest condition. If you should be able to have 1 to 2, no more than 2, I would say, just to be safe, tires of the shoulder bars of the tread touching the concrete. If you can put your finger underneath those tread bars at the center of the axle, you have too much inflation pressure in the tires. So you can adjust to 1 to 2 psi, 1 to 2 bars touching on concrete. It's a good rule of thumb if you don't have a scale.
To reduce your compaction potential, consider buying the largest tire possible in diameter, width, and new technology. The taller the tire, the longer the tire footprint, which gives better traction and efficiency. The wider the tire, again, more load capacity and better traction. The largest tire will allow for the lowest proper inflation pressure. Ken also suggests for heavy axle loads, such as tractors that pull planters or sprayers, consider using the new increased flexibility tire technology, also called IF and VF tires. Ken also mentioned a new inflation technology the central tire inflation system. This technology allows the farmer to change the tire pressure of his tractor and implement tires on the go. This can be a real time saver for implements that require high tire pressures for transport, but much lower pressures in the field, such as the central fill planter. Your soil is the most valuable resource when growing a healthy and profitable crop. By paying attention to the proper tire size and pressure, it's a great way to take control of soil compaction.